Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to start by saying these issues are difficult for most Americans to talk about. And I want to bring us back to the basic dignity and humanity of all Americans, full stop. Ms. Reynolds, I really appreciate you being here today. I too am a parent, and I know that I would do anything that I could to get my children the care that they need. And implied in what you've said is that that journey was not always easy for you. And I'm wondering if we could bring it back to the experience of real parents, real Americans right now who are trying to wrestle with these issues. Just tell us a little bit more, if you could, about your experience of trying desperately to get your child the support that you felt like they needed and deserved, and you didn't always know what that was.
So when my child came out as transgender, there was not sort of the hysteria that there is now about this. So there was not a lot of information. We didn't know anyone. We didn't know other parents. We didn't know other kids. So if you can imagine late nights on the internet trying to find any information, lots and lots of tears, lots and lots of discussions with my husband. What are we going to do? How are we going to support our child? And then we sort of put to the test the social transition, and then we spoke with experts, right? And we took our time and we learned and we grew. And as our child matured, you know, that sort of changed things too. It was painful. Yeah. I don't want to, you know, I sort of don't want to focus on the negative of all of this, but it was extremely painful for us. It wasn't an easy choice. It wasn't anything that we took lightly. We took this extremely seriously. We were trying to get it right.
Yeah. And so is it fair to say that you tried to put the needs of your child at the center of all the decisions that you were making, difficult decisions in the face of a lot of stigma, a lot of misunderstanding, and you said recently the hysteria around this. And does the added stigma make it more difficult for parents in this situation to have the courage to stand up for their children? Like, what is that like when you feel like you are trying desperately to do the right thing and you're hearing all of these voices that you are not being a good parent?
It's absolutely heartbreaking, actually. I've spent my entire career trying to help people, particularly children. That is what I do. And to sort of be looked at as a child abuser or, you know, an indoctrinator or something like that, it's extremely painful. It just adds a whole other layer to this. It feels very hateful and divisive.
I really appreciate you saying that, because I think there are a lot of parents across the country right now that are trying their level best to do right by their children. And this kind of heightened hysteria around this issue is making it very difficult for them to do that. So I wanted to bring this hearing back to basic humanity and dignity, because I feel like we have gone astray. That's the first thing I want to say. So thank you for being here. For Ms. Cole, I also want to thank you for being here. I'm very sorry you feel like you didn't get the care that you needed and deserved. Mr. Minter, you're welcome. Mr. Minter, if you could, talk to us about how gender-affirming care, what does that look like for young kids? What are we talking about when we talk about gender-affirming care for young children?
For young children, we're simply talking about parental love and support, not trying to change the child, recognizing that the child is transgender and allowing them to be who they are, and encouraging others, family members, to do the same. It's really just loving and supporting a child.
I really appreciate that. Again, let's bring it back to the basic humanity and dignity of all. The last thing I want to say is, in his opening statements, the chair said there's no such thing as gender assigned at birth, and I just want to be on the record here of standing up for the 5.6 million Americans who are intersex, and actually that's exactly what the experience that they had was they were having their gender assigned at birth, and they are Americans too, and they are trying to navigate this. There are atypical chromosome patterns, gonads, and genitals that do not fit typical binary notions of male and female. That does not make them less American or less legitimate or less worthy of dignity and respect. I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. The chair